jump on to the next question. The next question's by Priya. It's a little bit longer question, so I might break it down to a couple of bits. So she's saying she wants to get started to build a HMO portfolio, but she's no idea where to start and has no capital to start with at the moment. She's heard lots of people securing HMOs or maybe option lease agreements, as wondering if this is something worth looking at. Or is it that I start on a rent-to-rent with a HMO? Lastly, how do I find my gold mine area to operate in? So lots of really good questions. Now, when we look at HMOs, what's the draw? What is it that draws us into HMOs? What's the exciting thing about taking a house and chopping it into 4, 5, 6 rooms? I'm even using crude language like chopping it up. But effectively, you're breaking it down to smaller units and having a much more dense number of people, not literally dense people, but the number of people in one building to maximize the rent. And there lies the answer. It's the amount of cash flow that you'll be able to generate from a bog standard house when you turn it into a HMO versus, let's say, a family was living there. You're going to make much more money from that property. Now, of course, it depends on the quality of the property, the size, the location, the type of tenants you have, the finish of the property. All these will determine how much you will actually make. But the simple concept of basically taking a house and, say, dividing it into 6 units, and then renting each of those units out and you're paying the running cost means you'll make more money. Typically, I would look at a 6-bedroom house, you should be generating at least £1,000 a month to make it viable. So if you've not even purchased your first property and you're looking at HMOs, the thing to remember is it's not for everybody. And I say that is because if you're managing, let's say, a family let, there's a little bit of work involved and understanding rules and regulations around that, and they're constantly changing. But if you're running a HMO, you need to be, let's say, much more skilled in understanding what's involved and how that needs to be worked. So you're jumping straight in at the deep end. So this is all down to your confidence in making this work. Now, I know some people say, now, first of all, you need to go and buy your first single let and cut your teeth on that before you go and do a HMO. I'm not sure that is the case every single time. I think it's all dependent on the individual personality, their confidence, and their ability to be able to go and do that. So let's look at the other question around how do you start actually if you've got no money in terms of HMOs. Because HMOs produce really good cash flow, to bring investment in and to help somebody get a return is much easier to do because the returns are quite high. So, for instance, you could go out and purchase a property that you convert to a HMO and you bring an investor in that's going to fund it, and you use all your sweat equity, your enthusiasm, your drive to make it all work. But remember what I said about your jumping straight in at the deep end. If you choose to do that, I would look to de-risk it as much as I possibly can by having people around me that I can turn to that help me and support me with that. So, for example, having an experienced HMO builder, the ones who's converted these properties before, so they know what they're doing, they can give you some guidance. Maybe a good architect on board as well as part of the team. A really experienced managing agent of that type of property in that location that can help you and guide you to ensure it's finished in the right way so it appeals to the right tenants, and then you can achieve the right rents. Build a relationship with the HMO officer if they're accessible. In some towns, I know they're just literally virtual, that you can never get hold of them. But if you can build a relationship with the HMO officer, get to learn from them what they want and their requirements. And of course, I've said many times, one of the easiest way to actually go out and build a network of people is to go to your local network meeting. And that's why I run a network meeting myself in Birmingham, because it means I keep growing my network. But go and meet people there, but most definitely go and meet the host. And if you're in Birmingham, you need to come and say hello to me when I run my monthly meeting on the 3rd Tuesday of the month. But by meeting the host, what you're able to do is open doors much faster to build your network, because a host will know many of the people that are in that room. So they can connect you with people that say, go and speak to such and such. They're already doing what you're looking to do. This person's got experience in, for example, converting HMOs. So you want to build your network of people who are skilled and experienced around you if you are going to jump straight in at the deep end and look to purchase a property to convert. What I would not advocate is if you have no knowledge, no experience, you raise money from somebody and you just jump straight in to do that. It's going to be a painful learning curve, and I've seen it happen many, many times. So you need to de-risk it as much as you possibly can. The rewards are massive. There's no doubt about it. The rewards in HMOs are absolutely massive. But you've got to make sure you set this up properly, build it as a solid business by having solid foundations before you get started.